So guys, welcome to day 4 of C programming language sessions. So in last 3 classes, we have seen what is C programming language. And then we have seen why we need to work with C programming language. Then we have seen how to write programs in C language. So the order in which the statements are executed is known as program flow, or we can say control flow. So the default program flow is sequence order. Sequence order means all the statements of your program will be executed from top to bottom without skipping any single statement. That's we call actually the sequence flow. And the next one is selection programming construct. And the third one is the repetitive programming construct. So we are finished with sequence programming construct. In sequence programming construct, all the statements of your program will be executed from top to bottom once. But in every programming requirement, we may need not to execute all these statements. Sometimes we may need to execute statements based upon some criteria, based upon some condition. And that's where the concept of control statements will come into picture. So let me show you that what we are going to discuss by showing one diagram so that you'll understand clearly. See here. This is what we call actually the control statements, in which only few statements will be executed based upon the conditions provided. All statements won't be executed. And to work with this kind of programming construct, you need to use if-else programming model. You need to work with if-else programming model. The default programming structure is sequence. Now I'll explain you selection programming construct, which is also known as the decision-making programming construct. And the third one is repetitions, or we can say loops. So guys, are you clear with the sequence programming construct? Just let me know in the chat box. Sequence means like adding of two numbers program is the best example. Why? Because in that program, each and every statement of your code will be executed, and no line is skipped from that. No line is skipped. So this is how, suppose in your program, you're writing like 9 to 10 lines of instructions, then all those 9 to 10 lines of instructions will be executed from top to bottom, and that too only once. But sometimes we may want to execute some set of statements based upon a condition. Then we must use the selection programming construct. So in selection programming construct, we take a decision whether to execute a particular statement or not. We'll take a decision whether to execute a particular statement or not. And to work with this programming construct, we use if-else and switch case. So when to use if-else, when to use switch case, that I'll explain you later. But initially, try to work with if-else programming construct. By using if and else, these two keywords, by using these two keywords, if and else, we can create totally four types of if-else constructs. Simple if with else statement, if else, if, that's nothing but multiple if, and the fourth one is the nested if actually. We can create totally four types of programming constructs. And while working with if-else programming construct, you should be introduced with two more operators. One is comparison operators and second one is logical operators. So comparison operators are used to compare the data, and based upon the comparison will perform actions. And logical operators are used to combine two or more conditions together. And these are the comparison operators and logical operators. You can just have a look on the screen. And now we'll write few programming examples, because our objective is not to spend time on just theoretical explanation. Our objective is to understand the programs as many as possible. Why? Because practice is more important. Is it clear? While practicing programs, we'll try to understand few theoretical concepts. Okay, so I'll create a file here. I'll create a file and I'll say go, and then I'll say next. Here I'll choose C, and here it's asking me to choose the file name. So here I'll say simple if is the file name I'm choosing here, and then say finish. So I want to read the average marks of a student, and I want to check whether that person is passed or not. Okay, so program to check if the student is passed or not. I'm not thinking about the whether it is failed or not. I want to just check whether the student has passed or not. So let me include the respective header files first. One is stdio.h, next one is main. Okay, and we have to declare one variable with the name average, that is a float type, initializing the value to 0. Now I'll read the first value saying enter your average marks. And then I'll say scanf percentage f comma ampersand of avg is the variable name. After reading the average, I'll start the condition. If avg is greater than or equal to 40, means I'm considering 40 as the pass mark. So I'll say printf and simply passed. So this is we call actually simple if. This is we call actually simple if. Run the program, enter the marks. I'll say 90. So this particular statement passed is printed on the screen. Again, you run the program. This time you say 20. You won't get any output on the screen, because this particular print of passed statement is backed by a condition. And the condition what we have given is, please print this message passed only if the average is greater than 40%. So guys, we don't have any else part on this. That's why this particular programming model, we call it as a simple if programming model. When you say else, then I'll say printf, and then I'll say failed. And this is known as if with else statement. So in this case, what happens, you have two possibilities. If the student is getting only 30 marks, then you are saying it's failed. If the student is having, like more than 40, then you are saying it's passed. So you have two statements like line number 14 and line number 16, but both these statements won't get executed. Only one statement will be executed based upon the condition. So guys, just type in the chat box if this is clear up to you, so that I'll take this program to the next level. I'll take this program to the next level. Just type in the chat box if it's clear to you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Now, the person, whoever is passed, I want to congratulate him. So what I'll do is, I'll say printf /n is for displaying output in new line. Okay. And I'll say congrats. Okay. Now, whenever I run this program, I'll get an error. So can anybody tell me that why I'm getting this error? Can you type in the chat box? Why I'm getting this error? Can anybody tell me? Just guess that why you are getting this error. We are getting this error because we have not grouped these two statements as one unit. So you have to keep these floor brackets. You have to keep these floor brackets in order to group these statements. And you may ask me, sir, like earlier you have not grouped as location. So from this, you need to understand that if the if block or else block has only one single statement to execute, then grouping them in floor brackets is optional. But if you have more than one statement, then you have to group them. Is this clear point, everyone? Is this point clear, everyone? I'll say 90. I'll get, hey, you are passed and congrats. Now, if the student has failed, I want to say him that better luck next time. I want to display this message to him. So guys, now tell me, will my code execute? Will my code execute? Will it run? Yes, yes, my code will execute. So can you tell me what will be the output when I enter marks as 60? Can you guess what will be the output? What output you are expecting? Lokesh, if you can try. First block, okay. Anyone, if you want to try, you can just share your opinion. Like first block is nothing but like past and congrats. Am I right? Sahu, Mangaldeep Sahu. Yes, very good, very good. So any other student wants to share their views on this? I'll press enter key. First block, first block. So guys, there is small problem here. That is, you'll get past congrats and better luck next time also. You'll get this. Why? Because as we are not grouping these two statements in one bracket, then C language will consider that only one statement belongs to else block, and this will be considered as a common statement. So this statement will be executed whether the condition is satisfied or not satisfied. Means for pass student, for fail student. That's why for the past student also you are getting this message, better luck next time. But we should not get that message. Understood, everyone? Understood, everyone? So this is known as actually logical error. This error is known as logical error. Means you are not getting the output as expected. Understood, everyone? Earlier I got one error. Is it clear? And the program not compiled, and that is known as compile time error. Is it clear? Now guys, tell me, from these two errors, which are more dangerous? Logical error is more dangerous. Am I right? Why? Because the program will compile successfully, it will run, then you may think that you have done with your job. But actual problem starts when the program runs actually. Because every program which is running successfully may not give you the correct output. As Mangaldeep Sahu, I am coming to that point. Thank you so much for raising that point. by next point is that only, that is logical error. Okay, so actually when it comes to C language, we can divide these errors into four types actually. One is compile time errors, second one is linking errors, third one is logical, and fourth one is runtime errors. Runtime errors. So compile time errors and linking errors are like both are same only. They won't allow your program to compile, and these type of errors will come when there is a mistake in the when there is a spelling mistake in your program. Actually, now you see, I'll say I'll say build, I'll say compile current file. So it's throwing an error, undefined reference to printf. It is saying that I'm unable to identify the definition of printf. So spelling mistakes of the functions comes under linking errors, and missing semicolons will come under compile time error. So both are not danger because errors will be displayed on the screen. We can see and we can correct them. But whereas logical errors and runtime errors are both very, very dangerous errors, and runtime is like more dangerous than logical error. So for example, imagine you have built a calculator application. You have built a calculator application, and your calculator application is performing arithmetic operations like plus, minus, and into, as well as division. These operations it is performing. Okay, now imagine the first number you have given as 10, okay, and second number you have given as 0, and if you choose the operation as plus, Mangaldeep, can you tell me what will be the output? 10 plus 0. Will it be 10 or not? Will it be 10? Yes.
Yeah, it
Okay.
should be 10.
Yeah, it will be 10 only. But if you say like multiplication, 10 into 0, it will be 0. Am I right?
Yes.
So after checking like addition, subtraction, multiplication, if you feel that like you have done the calculator application and it is working fine, but what will happen if you choose divided by actually? Will it go into infinite loop? Triveni, we don't have like division by error kind of concept here because yes, this is known as runtime error. Mangaldeep, this is what we call runtime error. Means what? Your program will compile successfully. Your program will give you perfect result in some scenarios, in some situations, but in some situations it may go out of the scope. Such errors are known as actually runtime errors. And C programming language doesn't have the capability or the strength to handle such errors. So the program will go into infinite. But the modern programming languages like Java, C++, Python has a facility to handle these errors by using a concept called exception handling mechanism. Guys, got clarity on this or not? Got clarity on this? Means program will run, but whereas all of a sudden the program may get terminated without having any knowledge. It's, I can give you some real life examples. So when you are working on your when you are using your mobile, okay, and you are using WhatsApp to send message to your friends, sometimes have you noticed all of a sudden your WhatsApp will close? Have you noticed all of a sudden your mobile will reboot actually? Have you came to this kind of scenarios? Your app will restart, your mobile will reboot. So those are all the examples of runtime errors in real life scenarios. Okay, so to identify the runtime errors, to identify the logical errors of your program, industry provides a concept called QA, quality assurance. That's nothing but checking your program testing your application as per expected results. And that's where a new course will come into picture that is known as testing tools. Everyone is clear with this? Everyone is clear with this? There is one more course in the market that is known as testing tools. And that particular testing tools course is used to identify the errors of your program so that before the product is delivered to the client, it will be checked for its correctness. So I can keep these two statements inside this else block and I can run it. Now you can observe if the student has passed, then we'll get only congrats. Then if the student has failed, then we'll get only better luck next time. But if you want to display, like thank you message for both, then instead of writing thank you twice in if block and else block, it's better you can write once actually. This is what actually you have to plan. And this is not rocket science. This is not rocket science. It all requires some amount of practice. And to practice these type of programming examples, you need to have some questions. And while practicing, if you have any doubt, there should be one mentor to guide you, to help you, to correct you. And that's where you can become expert in the subject. Am I right, guys? Understood clearly? It is very difficult to get expertise on a subject without having mentorship, without having guidance. We need to have someone to correct you. Why? Because if an experienced person says that, hey, what you have done is absolutely correct, then the level of confidence which increases, that will really increase your energy levels to next level to work more, to do it more actually. You may do correct, but there should be some experienced person on top of you to hold your hand and to tell you, hey, really you have done very well. And that motivation will really help you to take your learning to the next level. Okay. So thank you so much, guys, for your participation. Now, we have worked with two ifs. One is simple if, second one is if with else statement. Now, we'll try one more example that will be like a nest, that will be like a multiple if actually. Multiple if. Multiple if means we will be taking multiple conditions. So guys, the program, what I want to test here is, I want to read one number from the user and I want to check whether that number is positive number or negative number or it is neutral. So there are totally three cases. Number may be positive, number may be negative, or number may be neutral. So guys, can you tell me in the chat box what could be the logic? Anyone? You can just give a try. You can just give a try. Checking whether the number is positive or negative or neutral. Like how to check. Very good. Very good. Yes, Deepti, Mangaldeep, super. Lokesh. So let me declare one variable with the name number and initialize with the value 0. I'll say printf and then I'll say enter a number. I'm reading one number from the user. Scanf percentage d comma ampersand of number. Now I'll say if the number is greater than 0, then it's a positive number. So printf percentage d is positive, and I'll print that number simply. Okay, and I'll say else part. Again, I'll check if the number is less than 0, print percentage d is negative. And in the place of percentage d, you print that number. Else, if the number is not greater than, not less than, then obviously it's neutral. It's neutral. So this is also known as if else ladder. If else ladder actually. Okay. And you can run this program. I'll say 90. It says 90 is positive. Again, you can run this program. And this time I'll say minus 98. It says number is negative. Again, you can run this program. You can say 0. Then you can say 0 is neutral. So this is known as multiple if or if else ladder, what we call. See, there are hundreds of programming examples are there. They are all those programming examples I'll give you as a part of my main course actually, because in this 1 week sessions I cannot cover that. So this is how my main course will look like, where each and every concept will be explained like this. There is a program on even odd checking, okay, biggest of two numbers, and like discount and final amount example, then like electricity bill generation, and then like for each model there will be like 5 to 6 programming examples to practice. After that, multiple if. For multiple if, like we have a grades example, we have example on like billing application, when you go to a showroom and buy products. And then we have nested if. Now I'll explain you what is nested if, the fourth if else programming model. Nested means one inside the other one actually. Nested means writing one if block inside one if block, writing if block inside else block. Nesting means one inside the other one actually. And the best example to understand the nested if is biggest of three numbers. There are so many examples you can try it, but biggest of three numbers is the best example to understand. So let me declare three variables like a comma b comma c, initialize these three variables to 0. Now I'll read all the three variables, enter three numbers in one single scanf statement. Okay, so if you want to read multiple values in one single scanf, then for every input you have to give its specified format specifier. All three numbers of integer type. So I'll say percentage d, percentage d, percentage d, comma, ampersand of a, comma, ampersand of b, comma, ampersand of c. All the three numbers I'm checking, I'm reading. Then I'll say if a is greater than b. So guys, can you tell me that, can I declare that a is the biggest one, or is there any number left to check? I'll compare a with b, and a is the bigger one. Can I simply declare that a is the biggest one? Very good. C is also there. Very good. C is left. Upender, thank you so much. So I have to say that if a is greater than c, means I'm checking a with b as well as a with c. Now I can declare that percentage d is biggest, and I can display the a value. So in between a and c, either a can be big or c can be big. So I'll display the biggest number is c. So this is case one. This is case one. When a is greater than b, then you have to execute these statements. There is one more case for this, because a may not be greater than b. A may be less than b. When a is less than b, then can you tell me what are the two numbers I have to check to declare the biggest one? When a is not greater than b, it's nothing but a is less than b. Then what are the two numbers are left? What are the two numbers are left? If b is greater than c. Am I right, everyone? Just let me know in the chat box. And here I'll say printf percentage d is the biggest, and I can print that this is the b. And here again I'll say else, and I can say printf percentage d is biggest, and I can print the c value. Guys, everyone clear? Everyone clear with this? I'll run this program and I'll say 90, 87, and 88. It says 90 is the biggest one. So we call this programming model as nested if. Why? Because inside one if block, this is one if block. Inside this if block, you got if else actually. Inside this else block, again you got one if else. So that's why this is known as nested if programming construct. Now, while working with if else programming constructs, you are using comparison operators like greater than, less than, equal to. Okay. And along with this, we can work with logical operators also. Logical operators generally simplify our programming conditions. That's nothing but instead of writing A greater than B and then after the checking A greater than C, like in two steps, one after the other, you can use a logical operator and you should not write A and D and you have to use symbol in C language. And then you can check the A variable's value with the B and C together, and then you can display either A is bigger or not. And once this checking is done, then directly in the else part, you can check with B and C. So this is known as working with the logical operators. You'll get the same output, guys. You'll get the same output. There won't be any difference in the output, but it's all about how you are writing your program. So whatever is convenient to you, whatever the situation is demanding, based upon that, you have to write the code. This is about biggest of three numbers. Now, I want to ask you that is anyone is ready to try a program on biggest of four numbers on the live. If you want to try this, then I'll help you actually. So if you are attending this session from your laptop, and if the C software is installed, whether it is code blocks or any other IDs installed on your machine, then you please come forward. I'll help you to write biggest of four numbers program. Anyone wants to come forward? Please let me know. It's like biggest of four numbers program. We'll try. Anyone? You can just type in the chat box. Very good. Triveni, I'll give permission. You can share your screen. And I'll help you. I'll guide you so that you can write the code. You can share your screen. I've given the permission to share. Yeah. So here you can declare one more variable Triveni with the name D. Okay. And here you can initialize those variables to 0. Very good. And instead of 3 numbers, you say 4 numbers. Okay. And you add one more percentage D and say ampersand of D there. Okay. Now, I would like to give you one suggestion that enter 4 numbers you have written. For professional appearance, you better give E in capital letters so that it will really look good actually when your program runs actually. So all the output messages, you just format it in a beautiful way. Okay. So I'll tell you the simplest and the best way to write this program is Triveni, it's better you find out you divide this program into small parts. You find out the biggest from A and B, and you find the biggest from C and D. Then you compare both. So you declare two more variables, B1, B2. You declare two more variables, B1, B2. B2. You initialize them to 0. Fine. Now, what you can do is you remove that if conditions. You can remove that if conditions. They are not required here right now. Very good. Yeah. Now you do one thing. You compare A and B. Okay. If A is big, then assign that to B1. If B is big, then you assign to B1. So write that statement. If A is greater than B, then which is the biggest one? A. That you assign it to B1 actually. So B1 equals to A. Okay. Else B1 equals to B. Put semicolons for B1 equals to A and not for if below line number 11 semicolon is required. Yeah, there also it is required. Okay, fine. So this is one set of statements. So you are comparing A, B, and you are finding the biggest one. You just press enter key there. Okay. You write same statement once again for C and D. You can copy paste those lines. Okay, now A greater than B will be changed to B greater than C greater than D. Okay, and you assign that C value to B2. B2 equals to C and B2 equals to D. So when these two if blocks gets executed, we'll get B1 and B2 get updated. Now you compare B1 and B2 and display which is the biggest one. So press enter key there. Okay. Now you can write if B1 is greater than B2, B2, print of biggest one is biggest number is B1, else biggest number is B2. Simple. Very nice. And you say B2. Now you just run and check it out whether you are getting correct output or not. Awesome. You just enter four numbers and experience is four is bigger. Good. So guys, everyone, have you understood this, the logic, the simplest logic? Just you can just type in the chat box if you have done. You can unmute Upender and you can ask like which line you didn't understood actually. Upender, you can unmute and you can ask which line number you didn't understood exactly. You can unmute from your end actually, no problem. See, there are totally four numbers and you have to find out which is the biggest one. First you compare two numbers, then you find the biggest one. Then you compare rest of the two numbers, you find the biggest one. After that, you compare both B1 and B2, and then you'll find the biggest number. Rest, everyone, just let me know. Is this clear? This is very simple example. Very simple example. So, see, if it is four numbers, then you can do like this. If it is like, if you want to find out like biggest of 10 numbers, then this won't be the logic to perform. We need to work with some other programming model that is looping constructs that we need to work with loops. You can stop sharing your screen, Triveni. You can stop sharing your screen. So Upender, if you can share your screen, a program written on it, then definitely I can help you so that you'll write the program by your own actually. You can write the program by your own. If you can just write, I can help you and I can guide you in that if you come forward. Rest everyone got clarity. Lokesh, Deepika, Sai, Grishma, Kiran, Deepti. Very good. Very good. Very good. So, see, this is a concept. Using if else is a concept, but using this if else, how many number of programs you write it, that will totally depend upon your practice, and that is going to increase your practice level. So what I'll do is I'll explain you few programming examples. Is it clear? On AND operator as well as OR operator, so that you'll understand clearly how the programming works. So guys, I want to check. I'll read a character from the user. Means I'll read an input from the user. I'll say character ch, and I'll say printf enter a single character input. I'll read one single character input from the user and store it into the variable ch. You may ask me, sir, why you have taken only character, like why you have taken character variable, why not integer? Why? Because integers can store only numbers. Characters can store characters, numbers, as well as symbols also. Understood, everyone? The first, the declaration part. I can read anything inside a character variable, but whereas inside a numeric variable, I should have only number actually. So here, so whatever the input I am entering, that I want to check whether it is capital letter, whether it is lowercase letter, whether it is digit, whether it is special character. So if the ch variable contains, guys, can you tell me what are the ASCII codes of capital alphabets, capital letter alphabets, capital A to capital Z? Is it not 65 and 90? So whatever the input you have entered, if that input's range is in between 65 to 90, then you can say simply percentage C is capital letter, and you can print the value of CH in the place of percentage C. Else, if, guys, can anybody tell me what is the range of lowercase alphabets? What is the range of lowercase alphabets? Can anybody tell me? 97 to 122. Very nice. If it is CH is greater than or equal to 97 and CH is less than or equal to 122, then I can say printf percentage C is a small letter. Okay. Else, can you tell me what is the range for digits 0 to 9? Can anybody tell me? It's a 48 to 57 actually. 48 to 57. Very good. So I'll say printf percentage C is a digit, and I'll print the ch variable's value. Else, if it is not capital letter, lowercase letter, digit, then you can say percentage C is a special character, and I'll print the value of ch here. Okay, that's it, guys. Simply run the program and see. I'll enter H. It says H is a capital letter. Let me run this program once again. I'll say G. It says G is a lowercase letter. I'll run this program. I'll say 8. It says 8 is a digit. I'll run this program once again, and this time I'll enter star. It says it's a special character. Guys, tell me everyone understood this or not? Nothing is there. Simple if else only. But if you are unable to recollect the ASCII codes, then it's not the problem of C language. It is the problem of your ASCII codes knowledge. Is it clear? Now you may ask me, sir, how I get benefited if I learn this program? What is the use of practicing this program? The use of practicing this program is, guys, while creating accounts in online websites, Have you noticed sometimes whenever you enter a password, it says that your password is strong, it's weak, it's medium. Have you noticed strong, weak, medium? Or there are some portals, while entering the password here itself, they'll tell you that there should be one capital letter, one digit, minimum one special character. So, whatever the password you are entering, say for example, HARI $9, something like this we are entering, then each and every character is getting checked that what type of character it is. So once you understand that how to identify a individual character, then from password you can extract each and every character and you can check it against that. So for developing such kind of applications, this is the foundation actually we are providing. Even that program we have in C programming language, even I'll teach you that program to check the strength of your password, which is at advanced level. It requires a lot of coding practice, but we have that program also checking the password strength example. Everyone understood this? uh, have you got clarity that why you are practicing these kind of programs? Because this kind of programs will create a foundation and fundamentals for your advanced level of learning actually. These will create a foundation and fundamentals for your advanced level of learning.